It's time for Mornings at 8 with Jonathan Mark on AM 1480 WLEA.
Well, yes, it is time for Mornings at 8, and here we go. It is about 5 minutes after 8 o'clock on a Thursday morning. Thursday, which means it's practically Friday. One more little day, and there you go. It's Friday at the end of the weekend. Yippee. It's kind of cold out there. Brian, what's the temperature again? 30. But with the wind, it's kind of breezy out there. I don't know what the wind chill is, but it's brisk. It really is brisk. Yesterday, just casually speaking, I said, I have an interest in history. And I kind of was talking to myself, I guess. I said, I wonder how people removed snow years ago. I mean, a very, very long time ago, 200-300 years ago, whatever. And I said, well, maybe, I could look it up when I get home. And I did. And I searched for history of snow removal. And I thought, well, this isn't going to get me anywhere. History of snow removal, really? Well, boy, I couldn't believe it. I mean, all these sites popped up giving a history of snow removal. Who would have thought that? But there were at least a dozen sites on the net that dealt with the history of snow removal. And here's one called By the Numbers. And the name of the article is A Brief History of Snow Removal. How do you like that? Well, snow has been around, for as long as there have been people, right? Probably a little longer, I guess. And, this has been a problem for years and years. Now we have these big snow plows and salt and sand trucks and all that. And I mean, snow throwers or blowers or something. There's all kinds of ways to do it. But years ago, they didn't have that. So I said, well, let me see. Probably you have a bunch of people with shovels and you shovel the snow. And true, that is right. Yeah, they did have a whole bunch of people with shovels and they would shovel the snow. And the upside of that, especially in metropolitan areas, it would be a temporary job. So you wouldn't think that. But if you needed a job, you could get a job as a snow shoveler or something, So that was good. It did provide temporary jobs. And other than that, they had horse-drawn plows where you would put a big plow behind a bunch of horses. Now, the horses, of course, had to go through all that snow, but hey, they're horses, right? So they would drag these plows through the roads or streets of a city. And that's how they did that. But even before that, they had something called snow rollers. And snow rollers were huge horse-drawn wheels that would flatten out the snow. And that would make it easier for the carts with skis to move through the winter roads. And other than that, if you had a wagon or a cart or something like that, you would put skis on the bottom of it, under the wheels. You tie the wheels down, you put skis under the wheels, and away you go. Other than that, it was just, it was muscle power. That's what it was. Also, I found out, let me see, there was a bunch here, let me see. The word blizzard comes from a German word, which means, where did I find this? Blizzard, lightning-like. So blizzard is a German word, or a variation of a German word. It means lightning-like. And there were a lot of German settlers in Iowa. And that's where the term blizzard came from, was German settlers in Iowa. Also, let me see. What else here? There are a number of notable snowstorms over the years. I mean, really bad snowstorms. There was the Great Snow of 1717, when New England was left with about 4 feet of snow, with drifts of up to 25 feet high. And then there was another blizzard in 1772, and that was called the Washington and Jefferson Snowstorm of 1772. And George Washington wrote about it, as did Thomas Jefferson. And both Washington and Jefferson were stuck in their homes because the snow outside was about 3 feet thick. So you had 3 feet of snow outside. That was in 1772. Also, what else here? We had the Great Blizzard of 1888. And that's when cities got really serious about snow removal because that was a bad, I think 400 people died. It said here somewhere. 400 people died in the Great Blizzard of 1888. And what else? Let me see. It's hard trying to dovetail all these sites into one story. But nonetheless, by the mid-19th century, this is like 1850 or something, as cities were rapidly growing, city streets had to be entirely clear of snow for the business of the city to continue. And with this came snow plows. According to the National Snow and Ice Data Center, they were first used by the city of Milwaukee in 1862. Early snow plows were horse-drawn and would deposit the compacted snow in huge piles on the city streets and sidewalks. Not all cities use plows, though. Some just use shovels, and that'd be a lot of shoveling, a lot of shoveling. In New York City, clearing the snow was the responsibility of the police department. So on winter days, you might see cops excavating the thoroughfares with shovels. And it wasn't until 1881 when it was made the charge of the Department of Street Cleaning. And finally, as I said, came the blizzard of 1888, and cities got really serious about this. I think there was something else here that I thought was pretty interesting. As horses gave way to cars and trains, so too did snow removal start to get mechanized. In Chicago, trams were affixed with plows, although most snow removal still had to be done with shovels and horse-drawn carts. And also there was something called the Scandal of 1907 in Chicago. The Scandal of 1907. And they had workers who were shoveling snow off the city streets. And they were paid by the cartful, right, that they would dump into the lake. Lake Michigan, I guess, right? Yeah. So they would dump the snow into the lake. And they were paid by the cart. So what would happen, they would dump only part of their load, thereby having to make more trips and get paid more money. So the big scandal, big snow shoveling scandal or something of 1907 in Chicago. And what else here? I also found out, you know what an L train is, right? It's essentially it's a subway car that's elevated above the street. Oh, looking out the back window, it's snowing. Oh, isn't that nice? Huh, very nice. Anyway, where was I? Yes. So they elevated the subway cars. Well, there wasn't any subway. This was before subways. They had the L trains, an elevated train. And that was because of the snow. So instead of trying to make its way through all the snow on city streets, the railroad cars would be above the street. And that's how L trains came to be, which I thought was pretty interesting. And what else here? The main advance came in the early 20th century, and that's when we started to have motorized snowplows and the motorized salt spreader trucks. It was the early 20th century. So what else have we here? Anyway, I think it's really interesting how people get rid of snow. I don't know. Maybe I'm just easily interested or something. But one more thing here. One more thing. Okay. Oh, yes. This a part of this is about the weather watching and weather reporting. But weather watchers in rural areas and cities kept their eyes on the temperature and air pressure and provided a climatological record as well as weather diaries for future reference. Beginning in the 1820s, these people would send their records to the Smithsonian Institution, where the various reports were collected in an attempt to analyze and forecast weather. So reports were also relayed to the public via newspapers and telegraph dispatches, and that was in the early 1820s. So I think that's kind of neat. I don't know. Anyway, okay, what else have we here? Oh, earlier this week, this is Thursday and not yesterday. It might have been Tuesday, Monday. I don't know. I mentioned that it was going to be a shortage of French fries. Nothing to be alarmed about, but there was going to be a shortage of French fries. That's what I read in one source. Well, I found this morning on a source called Food and Wine. And apparently, no, there's not going to be a shortage of French fries. At least that's what it says here. And it reads, there has been some concern that we're going to run out of French fries sometime in the next year. Colder and wetter than average weather and heavy frosts have damaged potato crops in the north and the west. So U.S. potato output could drop 6%, falling to its lowest level since 2010. And that, combined with an ever-increasing demand, has led to rumors of a French fry crisis. But there won't be, apparently. Those factors are just not enough to cause a shortage. Potatoes that have been used for other purposes will simply end up being sliced into French fries. So, there you go. However, there might be a price increase. Okay, so we can... Boy, that was a close one. Okay, there's no French fry crisis, and that's a good thing. Well, this being the holiday season, I mentioned this, a number of times over the past 2 weeks, but more and more people are putting their Christmas lights outside. It's so cool. It really looks nice and beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Christmas light. Where did I find this? The Post-Star. It's a newspaper in the eastern part of the state here. Christmas lights banned at South Glens Falls apartment complex. Now, why would they ban Christmas lights at an apartment complex? Well, until now, Christmas lights have always adorned the townhouses. This past weekend, the lights were abruptly banned. After one resident went to Facebook to appeal for support, the Rochester-based corporate office backed down a little. As of Tuesday afternoon, tenants were allowed to hang lights around their doors and windows. No other decorations, including lights on their porches, would be allowed. And who's this? She's the Senior Vice President of Property Management for Pathstone, which owns the complex, Catherine Bryan. And Ms. Bryan said, we're just trying to not be bah humbug. We're just saying be respectful of neighbors. Last Christmas, some tenants complained that their neighbors set up these light projectors, which shone through their windows, Bryan said. And then there were more complaints at Halloween regarding light projectors and other decorations. Now, I bought two, not one, but two of these things, where it projects a pattern of lights on the wall or the ceiling or something like that and moves all around, which seems like a really good idea. But the thing is that because it's laser, you cannot look at the lights, right? So you can't look at the source. And where are you going to put it if you can't see the source? So I don't know exactly how. It's a little awkward. But now we have two of them. Anyway, Miss Bryan said some of them went a little too far. We've had complaints from some residents. So the manager of the complex decided to create a new rule and ban Christmas lights. You can attach lights to the inside windowsill in your apartment by removable means. No nails, tack, screws, etc. No lights outside. Management wrote in a letter that was taped to the doors of every decorated apartment. And the letter said that each resident who put up lights had committed a lease violation. But Ms. Bryan said no tenant has been punished. No one has received any lease violations because of this. So she took action after this Facebook campaign. So, what here? Even those who do not have a shared porch cannot put lights on the porch itself. That's because those with shared porches wouldn't be able to decorate the entire... This is pretty complicated. Wouldn't be able to decorate the entire porch. It has to be fair and consistent, she said. So, you can kind of put lights up, yes, but no, I don't know. As I said, it seems very, very complicated. But something else here, it says it's not all income restricted, but mostly. There are a lot of single parents, and they have little ones. One of the parents said her children don't believe Santa will come if they don't put lights up because he can't see the house. So that could be a definite problem. I believe that too. If Santa can't see your house, how is he going to stop there, right? So you need those lights. Anyway, that's going on at the South Glens Falls apartment complex. And more on the Christmas theme here. This is... Okay, where did I find this? This was on Fox News. Christmas cards banned at an English school by principal concerned about their environmental impact. Okie doke. So how does this work? The principal of an elementary school in England has banned students from sending Christmas cards to fellow students, claiming the festive tradition is bad for the planet. Okay. Jonathan Mason of Belton Lane Primary School in Lincolnshire claimed in a letter to parents that many students approached him with concerns about the impact of sending Christmas cards on the environment. So the concerns came from students. Wow. Okay, very good. Anyway, the complaint came from students. He he said, he told Sky News, throughout the world, we send enough Christmas cards that if we place them alongside each other, they'd cover the world's circumference 500 times. He said the manufacture of Christmas cards is contributing to our ever-growing carbon emissions. So Christmas cards hurt the environment. And so therefore, he's trying to be environmentally friendly. So you can't be... The head of the school continued, saying that in order to be environmentally friendly in school, we will not be having a post box for Christmas cards from this year onwards. That's it. It's done. Mason suggested to parents who want to send a card to send one card to the whole class instead of individual ones, in an effort to save money and the environment. Parents, no big surprise here, have criticized it. And one of them told the Daily Mail, why should children have the joy of taken out of Christmas? Why can't all these cards be recycled anyway? And I buy a lot of Christmas cards for charity, she said. It's great to see them come out of school with their cards and a smile on their face. It's a Christmas tradition that they've had for a long time, and now they're taking it away, the unidentified parent said. I know we have protected the environment, but these are a few Christmas cards once a year, and to be told about this on a piece of paper he sent out a letter seems contradictory and pretty stupid, I might add. So anyway, another mother said, telling people to stop sending Christmas cards in a letter sent out to hundreds of kids stinks of rank hypocrisy. They're mostly recyclable anyway. I agree that environmental issues are important, but I don't see recyclable Christmas cards as a massive contributor to these problems. So, there we go. No more Christmas cards at the school. What was the name of the school? Whatever it is. Belton Lane Primary School in Lincolnshire. All right, so there you go. Christmas cards are bad for the environment. You knew that was coming. You knew it was coming, and probably, yes, sir, Bob. Okay, insurance. Everybody needs insurance. You need it, I need it, everybody needs insurance. You cannot get by without it. And you can do no better than contact the Ryan agencies. They have offices in Hornell, Jasper, and Wellsville. They are insurance experts. That's all they do. Day after day, they deal with insurance. So that after a while, you learn a lot, right? So they offer sound, unbiased advice. Unbiased means that they don't favor one insurance company over another. In their book, you are the important one, not any one insurance company. So when you walk in there and you say, hey, I need insurance for this, that, or the other, they'll say, well, let's see here. Let's see. How about this? No. Ooh, this one. This would be ideal for you and your circumstances. They are the Ryan agencies.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Eddie Garcia.
In the NBA, checking games of note, the Lakers won their 10th game in a row on the road, beating the Jazz in Utah 121-96. Lakers are 19-3 overall, best record in the West, and tied for the best record in the NBA with the Milwaukee Bucks, who beat the Pistons in Detroit 127-103 to improve to 19-3. Milwaukee is currently riding a 13-game winning streak. Celtics took care of the Heat 112-93. College basketball, 10 ranked teams were in action, including a battle in the top 10 with number 6 Ohio State winning at number 7 North Carolina 74-49. The 25-point home loss for the Tar Heels is their worst under head coach Roy Williams. Purdue knocks off defending national champion 5th-ranked Virginia 69-40, a 29-point loss for Virginia. Number 3 Maryland beat Notre Dame 72-51. Terps are 9-0. College football news, USC announced that head coach Clay Helton is returning for his 5th season with the Trojans.
I'm Charles Payne, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Stock futures are trending higher. This on new hopes a U.S. trade deal with Beijing is moving in the right direction. Markets in Japan and China finishing higher but falling slightly in South Korea. That's had some financial trouble, but the company WeWork is not slowing down. The space-sharing firm has set a monthly record for new building openings. Claims to have opened at 52 new facilities in cities across the world this month. WeWork says it will open even more by year's end. And forget coffee and a donut. How about coffee and your coffee cup? Air New Zealand is out with a way to cut down on waste on its flights. It's testing a new vanilla-flavored cup. The cups are made from wheat, flour, sugar, and eggs. The plan is to not only use the cups for coffee, but also for dessert dishes. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Tom Graham, invested in you.
Prescription products require an online physician consultation and are only available if the physician determines a prescription is appropriate. Subscription required. See website for full details and important safety information.
Hey guys, good news. The expensive little blue pill is now generic, which means the prescription medication to treat ED is super affordable at 4hims.com. And now get your first online doctor's visit free at 4hims.com. That's right. Zero copay, no awkward face-to-face conversations to get your prescription. That's really good news. To start your free online visit, go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/joy. That's FORHIMS.com/joy.
At the Simmons Rockwell Nissan stores in Horseheads and Hornell, drive away in a new Nissan Altima SR all-wheel drive sedan for only $329 a month. New all-wheel drive 2020 Altima 2.5 SR models equipped with 19-inch alloys, sport tune suspension, and remote start. Lease with no money down for $329 a month for 36 months. Only tax and DMV fees are due at signing. Shop Simmons-Rockwell.com.
And we are back. Well, everybody's plugged in these days. Everybody's wired to the internet and smartphones and all that stuff. This is from, let me see. This is in Garden City on Long Island. Life Unplugged. This is from CBS New York. Life Unplugged. College professor making students give up smartphones for a week to test addiction. A bold experiment at a university on Long Island has students buying old school alarm clocks. That's because they're giving up their smartphones for an entire week. Can you believe that? Wow. Adelphi University professor Donna Freitas is challenging her students to do the unthinkable in our smartphone-addicted world, give up their smartphones for 7 days. One student joked, "My hands are shaking right now." Really? So these students marched to the public safety building to turn in their phones while getting their last-minute the fixes. The course is prompting students to re-examine their relationships with devices. How will they manage? Without the constant feed of refreshing and on-demand contact. One student said, what's her name, Adriana Sigliano, "I'm freaking out. I could probably cry right now. Not being able to text my mom if I need her." And another student, Melanie Klein, added, "This is going to test how brave I am." Wowee. Making things more stressful for kids, losing their GPS. One student said, "I'm nervous because I have it in my hands all the time, every second of the day, and have everything at my fingertips all the time." So what the class is hoping they'll gain, time to think and connect to real people. Well, that'd be novel. Professor Freitas said, "I'm interested in them just experiencing life and conversation and relationships without constantly grabbing for their phones." What will students do with all the extra time? Some say sleep better, study more, redo their rooms. That is if they survive what they anticipated to be a very difficult withdrawal. Now, the students are allowed to use good old-fashioned email. Whew, boy, that was close. So they can use good old-fashioned email on a desktop computer and have made safety plans to communicate in the event of an emergency. So you're doing without your smartphone, but you still have the desktop, and you have this, and you have that. So I don't know exactly an old-fashioned email, right? I don't know. Okay, that's going on there. And then we have, well, let me see, one more. Oh, yeah. A guy in England, he buys a bag of potato chips. And he finds a potato chip inside that he takes out a ruler and he measures it. And it's 6 inches long. And he thought it was a big deal. So this guy, what's his name? Somebody Higginbottom. Daniel Higginbottom brings this potato chip to his coworkers, or he takes it to his coworkers. He says, "Some weren't that interested at all, but I quickly locked it away just in case somebody crushed it. I think I'm going to put it in a little display case. I'm not saying it's the biggest ever, but you never know. I had a little look and couldn't see anything bigger." So he's going to put this potato chip in a display case. Some people are like that. By the way, the biggest potato chip ever is actually a 25-inch by 14-inch potato chip that was especially created by a team of food engineers and is housed in Blackfoot, Idaho, in case anybody ever asked you. So there you go. Okay, that's for this morning show, and I will see you tomorrow at 8:05. Bye.